This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Nerd Corporation.
My gigantic nose.
We went live! Yay!
I'm going to Hawaii! Yay!
Yay!
I got mail! Yay!
Yay!
What is that?
Crank Anchors, which is coming back, by the way.
Yep. Alright. Fuck. That was... It took forever.
After that ordeal, we're going to call it.
Thanks for coming.
I just decided to say screw it, and we tried to figure out how to do it to my Twitch page too, but that didn't work.
Perfect. Damn it, cold fucking headphones.
Worked every time until now.
It's moving me.
Hey, hey, hey.
Which one were you turning? That one?
Jazz
That one's
hands.
mine. This one.
No, I'm only doing that. Like the Xeno.
Then are you that one?
Jazz hands. Yes, I am. Okay.
Good to go?
Good to go. That's a Texas size 10-4, buddy.
We're out. What up, everybody? It's Thursday. You know what that means.
One day removed from the second birthday of the Nintendo Switch.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
2 years old.
March 3rd.
That's what I was going to say.
No, you weren't.
Don't bullshitter.
I'm gonna swat the flies. That is your BS.
Hey. You're over there. You're over there. I don't know which way's up.
She was like the best character from that movie. I mean, it was a good movie, but like she was the best.
The pig in the blanket. She's like, "What's this?"
Oh,
And then he pushes it back in.
no. It's podcast day.
Yay!
Welcome to a very special Season 3, Episode 10, Any Day of the Week. Top 20 Badass Women's.
Top 20 badass women's.
Yo, I got your 20 top women's over here.
It's Tony PlayStation.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 10, Any Day of the Week. Top 20 Badass Women in Games. We've compiled our own list of the top 20 women that are the badassiest of the badasses. Before we start, we didn't include any of the fighting game women because that would just be the whole list. You know what I mean? So,
that would bring up a lot more contention from
Yeah.
Cole, I'm sure.
I mean, like, shout out to the Camis and the Chun-Li's and the, all the Mortal Kombat women for sure.
Yeah, honorable mentions.
And I'm very biased, and half of my list would have just been all the women of Overwatch individually.
So, we're...
Fuck.
There's the chair, I swear.
There's the chair, I swear. So, we're just going to get off with the list. No nerd news today. It's a top 20, so we're going to be reading and discussing and stuff. So,
I love getting off with the list.
yeah.
It feels so good when you list.
It's a little harder to do. Like Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's something she'd get off on.
Yeah. List. So we're starting off with number 20, Faith Connors from Murmurs.
From
Murmur's Edge.
Murmur's Edge.
Momo's Edge.
Momo's Edge. Watch out, kid.
That bitch dead, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard like that dude said like a year or two ago or something, like the statue got demolished or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's because that thing has been in a lot of controversy, not just like lately. Like that was a big thing. I remember there was like
Like,
a
2 or
big
3 years
to-do about it already as it is.
I mean, it makes sense to use it for anything that you want to creep people out with, because it's fucking creepy.
Well, it was a Japanese artist. And
Yeah.
when you take one fucking look at it, and it's like, yeah, that's very Japanese horror.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I saw this meme that was going around that was like, it was right after like that started coming up, and somebody had posted, it was either like, it was one of those like Twitter screenshot pictures that people share,
Uh-huh.
and it was what it said something like, Momo better not show up on Pornhub because I'm not clicking away.
I saw one of them that said, I spoke to Momo. She said she'll go away if you vaccinate your kids.
Did you know that? Have you guys ever played that Plague Inc. game?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think anti-vaxxers or something like that are going to be in the game now. I'm like, oh, it's the biggest.
That's the biggest plague ever.
Yeah.
So we're starting off with Faith Connors from Mirror's Edge. Faith Connors, also known by her alias Phoenix Carpenter, is a fictional character and the protagonist of the 2008 action video game Mirror's Edge. Pretended. They put a T in there.
Pretended.
Presented in the game as a runner, Faith transports items for revolutionary groups hiding from the totalitarian government. In addition to the game, Faith also starred in its comic tie-in and appears in the game's reboot Mirror Edge Catalyst. Her voice is provided by Jules De Jong, I'm going to assume, in Mirror's Edge, and Faye Kingsley in Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Developers placed the game in a first-person perspective, partly to connect the player with the character. Faith's design was intended to appeal to both males and females and balance her edgy attitude with the game's clean, minimalistic aesthetic.
That game, when it came out, I don't feel like it got all the recognition that it should have gotten, because that was that was something you didn't see in games at the time. Completely first-person perspective game, heavily, pretty much 100% influenced by parkour. And I mean, you could maybe see some of that in Assassin's Creed, but not from a first-person perspective.
It was wholly unique.
Yeah.
I will give it that. I didn't really have that many issues with the first game. I felt like it had a compelling storyline. The gameplay was super tight, and the only thing that was kind of I guess if I had to nitpick was the soundtrack, but I never played the second game.
Yeah, I never played the second. I never got the want to play the second.
I had it once, or I might still either have it on my library. I think it's on my library on my Xbox account when I had my one, because it was $5 at one point.
I just always remember that game being one of those games where it was we didn't really need a sequel to Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
I felt like it kind of did everything it needed to do, and I would have loved seeing what else that developer had in mind. But
it was cool though, because from what I played, I mean, first of all, it was on PS4 and Xbox One, so it looked amazing.
Well, you can get that shit for super cheap, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Oh yeah. And they did incorporate use of firearms and stuff, because you didn't really have that. You could disarm guards in the first one, but you didn't get to use their guns, and in this one you got to use them, and I was like, okay, that's something that I would have loved to see in the first one.
I mean, that seems a little weird. I've got your gun! And then just chuck it to the side.
Well, I mean, it was kind of her whole shtick.
Yeah,
was that she didn't want to use guns.
Oh, okay.
Which it contradicts everything in the second game. It's okay, now I'm okay with using guns. It's
I should say she's the typical Batman that everybody knows, not Frank Miller's The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He'll kill motherfuckers. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Angela, don't you start.
Don't you boop. Oh, she's pulling some GTA shit.
That's not what we're talking about.
I fucking love you, babe. I know that you're there for me. GTA for the fucking GOAT, bro. Who won the poll, dog?
No, not yet. You're in the lead. Yes.
What are those green comments?
Nothing. That's just people that are showing up in the.
Oh.
You're in the lead, but the poll don't end till Thursday. So.
Yeah, you losing though.
Shut up. By 3 votes. Shut up and read.
You losing, dog. You losing.
It's okay. Cole can't read.
I hope you die. Right.
Yeah, when he reads his parts, we actually digitally overlay him just saying words.
It's 12 different layers.
It takes a really long time.
I'm too fucking tired to weave cohesive sentences together. So. The next one is Cortana. Cortana is a fictional artist.
See?
See? Cortana is a Cortana is a fictional artificial intelligence character in the Halo video game series. Voiced by Jen Taylor, she appears in Halo Combat Evolved and its sequels, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, and Halo 5 Guardians. She also briefly appears in the prequel Halo Reach. During gameplay, Cortana provides backstory and tactical information to the player, who often assumes the role of Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. In the story, she's instrumental in preventing the activation of the Halo installations, which would have destroyed all sentient life in the galaxy. Cortana's original design was based on the Egyptian Queen Nefertiti. The character holographic representation always takes form of a woman. Game developer Bungie first introduced. I had like a large amount of mucus in my nose. It was like slowly like becoming a problem. So I was like,
It just shows the people that like GTA 4 can't read.
Exactly.
Oh.
Only illiterates like GTA 4.
A week later, the debate rages on.
The debate rages on. Where was I? Game developer Bungie first introduced Cortana and Halo through the Cortana letters, email sent during Combat Evolved's production in 1999. The relationship between Cortana and Master Chief has been highlighted by reviewers as one of the most important parts of the Halo game's history. Which I do agree with. It became more of a thing in like Halo 3 because, you know, and even more so in like Halo 4 when she just doesn't she develop isn't when it's called rampancy, right? Where she's like slowly deteriorating. Yeah. And they like incorporated in the story that like AIs aren't supposed to last more than like 15 years or something like that, and Cortana's going on like 17. It's something like that.
And then they bring her to life at the end of one of the Halos, don't they? Like
a 5.
At the end of 5, yeah.
Apparently Cortana's like the bad person. Like she's the bad guy in 5. At the end of 5. Which I fucking hate 5. 5 like ruined everything, in my opinion, for Halo. And they gotta like really bring it back with Infinite. Like best multiplayer of any of them, but the story, man.
That's why I don't know. I'm torn because my tax returns are coming up, and it's either a Pro or a 1X. I don't know.
You already know, dog. You know what's in your heart. What's in your heart? It's a fucking Pro, bro. Priorities.
Figure it out.
Priorities.
Get this guy fucking puppers.
What are you gonna play on that X? Don't make my mistake.
Anything that's on Game Pass?
I bought an X. I don't even use it.
To you.
I'll buy yours then.
And you know what, motherfucker? We know that you're gonna buy that shit and you're gonna sell it like a month later. So just keep the Pro.
It's gonna get.
Then I'll have 2 PlayStations if I don't trade my original one in.
Well, you can't trade that original one in because it's a collector's edition. I wouldn't trade that one in at all. I would just go get the Pro.
We'll see. I'm not
that bitch on the wall.
I found out how much I'm getting. I just don't have it yet, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So.
I mean, they're not going to give you shit for that collector's edition.
Same as I've already looked into it.
Same
as a regular system.
Oh, fuck that.
Last I saw it was $130.
It's the collector's edition Uncharted 4 PS4 that's like that baby blue. Oh, it's so fucking cool.
I'm sad that I don't have the controller anymore, but
I used to have that controller too. That was a rad controller. I gave it to fucking JP.
He's listening.
Yeah, I gave that blue one to JP.
That's right, Brian. Brian gets it. This is my friend Brian, not Brian Draper. They're both my friends, Brian.
They're both my friends.
They're both my friends. All right, where are we at? Who's up?
Where? I've just been patiently waiting. All right.
So another thing.
Number 18 is Ayami Tenchu. Like, is that the last name, or is
she's from the Tenchu games?
Oh, okay. So Ayami from Tenchu. Okay. All right. Number 18 is Ayami from Tenchu. Ayami, a homonym of the word iris, meaning colorful female, is a player character in the Tenchu series of stealth games. Introduced, it acquires Tenchu Stealth Assassins in 1998, Ayami is a young prodigy assassin in a historical fantasy version of the 16th century Japan. I don't like that there. Okay. Introduced and acquires Tenchu Stealth Assassins in 1998, Ayami is a young prodigy assassin in a historical
fantasy?
Yes, fantasies. It's like a fantasy with Santa.
With Santa?
Yeah.
We'll make millions.
Yeah. Because he's so historical.
Exactly.
Introduced and acquires Tenchu Stealth Assassins in 1998, Ayami is a young prodigy assassin in a historical fantasy version of 16th century Japan, who has been adopted by a ninja master and raised along with her partner Rikimaru, right?
Mm-hmm.
Along with her partner Rikimaru to serve a local clan's lord. Like you do.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Yeah. I mean, that story
clan.
is as old as time.
I serve my local clan's lord every day.
Yeah.
Excuse me. She is one of the lead characters in all subsequent installments of Tenchu, except for Tenchu Z, and has been well received by gaming mass media, often perceived as one of the top assassins and best female ninja characters in video games.
I don't care what anyone says. This game is the remake that we need.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Like
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I've been saying this like for every time, because there's a couple there's a lot of gaming pages that I follow on Facebook, and they'll post some like replay, and they did a Tenchu replay, and they played like the first part of the first Tenchu game for like half an hour, and I was just watching it the whole time.
Right, dude?
And dude, this game was
that
when it came out.
You know that Sekiro's was supposed to be a Tenchu remake.
No, no way.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm still excited for that game, but
so the remake eventually turned into Sekiro.
All right.
So yeah, if that's what you want, I mean, you should definitely be looking into Sekiro.
Oh no, I already will be.
Yeah.
Just because it's like we've got Dark Souls, we've got Bloodborne, we've got Neo, and then Sekiro. Like, they're all just gonna be like
have you seen
hard
that?
as shit.
Have you seen that meme? What's the black guy from The Office?
Stanley?
Yeah, he's got like a traditional samurai headdress on, and he's like, it's like Neo 2, Sekiro, and what was the other one you said?
Bloodborne?
And it was
Dark Souls.
It was another Japanese
Dark
game.
Souls.
Looks like Tsushima?
Oh yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, and he's like, I must sharpen my blade.
It's funny because there was I don't know if you guys saw there's a deleted scenes that has gone around on like Facebook, and it's all the Office like fan pages that I'm following, and one of them was a deleted scene where it was when Stanley was about to retire, and he was like looking at his crossword puzzle, and Michael was like, let's do one last crossword puzzle as friends, and he like grabs for it, and he's like, Michael, no! And the book falls out, and all these fucking hentai cards fall out, and they're all booted out, and they just look at each other, and he like hurries and picks them up, and then it goes to his like confessional in the one office where it's just the one-on-one, and he goes, it's called hentai, and it's art.
I've seen that.
So good. All
Cole, right. Holly, Joey, and Sav are watching. From Holly.
Oh, hell yeah. Holly's my sister.
Oh, hi.
Tell us more about this game, Liz.
Tell me more, tell me more.
What is Death Trips about?
Accent and everything.
Oh, I found it. Let me see. I must hold my blade.
Alright. So, number 17 is a character from a lesser-known gem called Heavenly Sword. Her name's Noriko. She's a headstrong, red-headed woman who was born in the year of the prophesied divine warrior. Because she was a woman, her clan saw her as a mockery of the prophecy. Portent?
Yeah, portent.
That's a word?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. The clan saw her as a mockery of the prophecy and a portent of doom. The game's main antagonist, King Bohan, voiced by Andy Serkis. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
A tyrannical ruler who is determined to bring the world's tribes to heel. Who's determined to bring the world's tribes to heal and pave the way for a new golden age. Noriko is trained as a warrior by her father, Master Shen, voiced by Ewan Stewart, who both cares for her as a child and has difficulty coping with her role in the clan's seeming undoing and the death of his wife.
Like, I remember seeing that game, like, because it was like one of those like introductory titles right to the PS3.
Yeah, that was a launch title for the PS3. Man, they really wanted this game to do big.
I loved it.
I thought it was great. Game. Well, I mean, because it was the first time I looked at something and was like, holy shit, they've upgraded graphics.
Yeah. No, that game showed off what the PS3 was all about, like graphics-wise, and I absolutely loved that game, and I would go back and play it.
If you can remember, the PS3 was notoriously hard to develop for because it was using a different type of setup inside that no other game console was using. They were using cell processing, and that's why, like, if you look at any game that like was ported over to the PS3 that originally had premiered like on the 360, like BioShock, for example. BioShock is wildly known to be way better on the Xbox.
Well, thanks for tuning in anyways.
What?
She's like, it's a horror game, very short, just like my goddamn work breaks.
Anyways, the Heavenly Sword was supposed to be like really fucking big for Sony. But and everyone that I've ever talked to has said that they really liked it. So I was always curious why we didn't get it. Must have not sold very well because we never saw a sequel.
Yeah, and that's a sad thing.
That game reminded me a lot of God of War, actually.
Yeah, it really was like, it was really a female God of War.
Yeah.
Joey, we are talking about the 20 most badass women in gaming.
16. Regina from the Dino Crisis.
Regina.
Oh.
Gina.
Gina.
How's it going?
You're going to think I'm crazy. Regina.
It was made by Shinji
Cut your sack back, put a little rouge on you. What do you say?
So number 16 is Regina from the Dino Crisis game. Regina is a fictional character created and designed by Shinji Mikami in the Dino Crisis series of action-adventure video games by Capcom, serving as the main protagonist in the original Dino Crisis and the co-protagonist in Dino Crisis 2. In the Dino Crisis series, Regina is the code name of a member of the secret organization. In the Dino Crisis series, Regina is the codename of a member of the Secret Operation Raid Team, or SORT, a U.S. Army espionage and intelligence group. Regina operates as a weapons specialist, but often undertakes other tasks as assigned, such as gathering intelligence. In the first Dino Crisis, taking place in 2009, SORT is assigned a mission to infiltrate a third energy research facility on Ibis Island. Oh, it's right up your alley.
Yeah, I'd go there. Well, maybe not.
Upon arriving at the facility, SORT discovers it infested with dinosaurs.
You don't want SORT up your alley.
Yeah, you
don't.
Fuck.
Get out of there!
Florida.
Well, that's what I was gonna say this too. I was like, man, I really wish they had a word at the end with an A. So we're from sorta. It just totally loses the luster.
Despite difficulties with the new inhabitants and security systems of the facility, Regina and the surviving members of the team complete their mission and escape the island. Dino Crisis was one of those other like Resident Evil type games.
Yeah, we were talking about last week the GTA clones, and there weren't a lot of them out there, but I would call this maybe like a Resident Evil clone.
Yeah, it had to have been built off of the hype of Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the name of that. Like, I never played that game, but I remember being interested in it.
Dude, these games were terrifying, and they were awesome. I love Dino Crisis.
So, number 15 is Princess Peach from the Super Mario series. Princess Peach is a character in Nintendo Mario. Obviously, never heard of her.
Who?
Princess Peach is a character in Nintendo's Mario franchise. Originally created by Shigeru Miyamoto, Peach is the princess of the fictional Mushroom Kingdom, which is constantly under attack by Bowser. She often plays the damsel in distress role within the series, and is the lead female character, often being portrayed. She often plays the dance.
I'm prepared as Mario Bubba.
I know English. She often plays the damsel in distress role within the series and is the lead female character, often being portrayed as Mario's love interest, even though Mario never ever gets any.
He is tired,
Sorry.
Randy.
Ever.
Never, ever, ever.
Never gonna get it, never gonna get it.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Never gonna get it.
Not
Gonna
gonna
get
get this.
In most games, she's portrayed as selfless, perky, and generous. Typically, she does not show an aggressive nature even when she is fighting. This is done by quick slaps, elegant high kicks, thrusts in the air, and other graceful fighting techniques as seen in the Super Smash Bros. Series, or confronting her enemies. This, however, varies slightly from game to game. One of Peach's most common traits during her playable appearances is her ability to temporarily float in the air with her large skirt, and later on with her parasol.
Shout out to my old site manager from Vivint, Eric, who was the reigning champion with Princess Peach and the Wii U Smash.
Really?
She's top tier. She's top tier in every one of the Smash.
We held tournaments at the site, and it was awesome because they'd pull you off the phones and be like, "Hey, it's your turn to go play." I'm like, yeah, the fuck it is. And I went and just got my ass handed to me. But he would take on like all comers and challengers, like no matter when. Like, hey, you want to play? Let's go play. And I watched him play once, and he was insane.
It's another one of those character picks in Smash that I just like never got. I never understood why people were so good with Peach.
Me neither. Because her special was like the giving yourself health. Like it didn't really attack the other player.
And that's her special here. Like she'll throw peaches out.
Yeah.
And you'll just grab them.
I really want to grab her peaches.
Really want to shake her tree, you know what I mean?
All right, 14 is Princess Zelda from Mario. And
that's the main character of Zelda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So.
I just want to say, imagine if Zelda was a girl.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Right.
So.
Princess Zelda is the titular character.
I was waiting for you to do that.
Princess Zelda is the titular character in Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda video game series. She was created by Shigeru Miyamoto and was introduced. Okay. She was created by Shigeru Miyamoto and was introduced in the original 1986 game, The Legend of Zelda. She appears in several incarnations throughout the series, generally as a member of Hyrule's royal family and an associate of the protagonist Link. Though she is the eponymous character, Zelda's story role is often that of the damsel in distress, or donor, who assists Link. In many games, Zelda is captured by the antagonist Ganon. Jesus, I don't know what's going on. In many games, Zelda is captured by the antagonist Ganon, necessitating Link to come and rescue her. Some games have emphasized her magical abilities and importance to the functioning of Hyrule. In several games, she is one of the sages or champions whose heroism is essential to defeating Ganon. And in champions? What?
In others.
Reading the same line. I was like, what is going on here? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. All right.
Let's just relish this moment for a minute, because fucking it never happens today.
Well, hot dog.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be doggone.
I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Wait for Nick to finish drinking, just because, you know.
You said relish, so I said hot dog. I don't think anyone picked up on it.
I got it.
Okay.
In others, she adopts alternative personas to take a more active role in the story. Zelda's alter egos include the ninja Sheik, right?
Sheik.
Okay. I I wanted to say shake for some reason, like really badly.
Shake it, shake it, shake it.
Oh!
God damn it. Zelter's...
Zelders.
The Legend of Zelda.
All Zelders over there.
Zelter.
That's
Zelders over
yeah,
there.
like somebody that like knows her very well and wants to give her like a cute pet name. Old Zelders. Zelders, how the heck are you?
Zelters, you son of a bitch, how you doing?
Or it's some like backwards guy trying to talk about it, like, oh, y'all ever played that game, Legend of Zelda?
Made by them damn people over there at the Nintenders.
And then they talk about washing their clothes.
One game, Ocarina of Time.
I was playing that Princess Zelda, but I had to go and wash my clothes.
Majora's Masks.
But then I forgot that I hung my stuff out by the creek.
By the creek.
Anyway. Zelda's alter egos include the Ninja Sheik in Ocarina of Time and the and the pirate captain Tetra in the Wind Waker. Is that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's right. Obviously, I would put her on my own personal list a lot higher. I love Princess Zelda. I think she's way more than just the damsel in distress trope. You know what I mean? Like especially in Breath of the Wild when she's given more of a mature approach.
Yeah.
And she's thick as fuck.
I mean, as he's wearing a Zelda hoodie.
The reason why
I'm not biased at all.
Yeah. The reason why the consensus was for this was just because of the fact that she was more.
Oh, I'm not like butthurt or anything about it.
You shouldn't be, but I would like to show you my thought process. You know,
mostly I put her in because on my list I can't remember, I put her a little bit higher, but mostly because when she becomes Sheik and she just fucks
handles everything.
Yeah.
Well,
or woman handles.
You know, she's 1/3 of the Triforce, so she's she's totally, completely important to the overall. Like not only just like one Zelda game, like all Zelda games.
Like as opposed to Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Just getting fucking caught by Bowser for the 97th time. And
but
Mario!
Like we said, she is a top tier character in Smash Brothers, so I think that gives her some clout.
Yeah, and I mean like
just because of that Miyamoto bias over there.
Yeah, I think she would have been higher up on the list, but I think that the fact that she was the damsel in distress for so long.
Of course.
All right, so number 13 we got Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, or as she's well known in the universe, Femshep. Femshep. I actually met her at Comic-Con. The voice of Commander Shepard. I'll tell you here in just a second.
Oh.
Commander Shepard is the playable. Well,
it's true.
Yes. I'm not wrong. You're not wrong. Commander Shepard is the player character in BioWare's Mass Effect game series, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. A veteran soldier of the Systems Alliance Navy military and N7 graduate of the Interplanetary Combatives Training, or CT program, and first human Citadel Council Spectre, Shepard works to stop the Reapers, a sentient synthetic machine race dedicated to wiping out all advanced organic life. Shepard's gender, class, first name, and facial appearance are chosen and customized by the player. Mark Muir provides the voice for default male Shepards, while Jennifer Hale voices female Shepards.
That's right, Jennifer Hale. I forgot.
Since the player can choose the gender of Shepard, much of the dialogue revolving around the character is gender neutral with only a few exceptions. However, in some other Mass Effect media, Shepard is called a he regardless of player choice for gender.
Before we say anything else, we need to have a moment of silence for Mass Effect as a whole. Okay. Fuck you, EA. You pieces of garbage.
You're ruining BioWare.
God, you closed down Visceral. You're really fucking Respawn. I mean, you just
look. They're responding.
I know they better.
EA's like, what?
You're garbage, and that's why your stock is tanking, and why nobody ever likes you.
That's why
you're doing bad.
Anthem sucks.
And you should feel bad.
Anthem sucks. Andromeda sucked. The only thing that is relatively good at all from you is Apex Legends. And that's because you had literally zero any to do with it at all. Fuck you, EA.
God damn it. That's when you wake up, huh, motherfucker?
Well, no, dude, it's because the original Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 are perfection. They are amazing sci-fi stories. They are oh man. If you consider yourself sci-fi fans and you haven't played Mass Effect, you really are doing yourself a disservice. Mm-hmm. Those games are amazing.
When I first played Mass Effect, I had found Coheed and Cambria around the same time Mass Effect came out, and that's all I did because I had it on the Xbox, and so I'd throw in a Coheed and Cambria and just fucking rail on Mass Effect, and it went so fucking it was spot on with the action and stuff. It was so cool.
Mass Effect 2 is change your life good.
It is so
it is so good. It's like one of those games that is so good it will change your way of thinking. That game is amazing, and I'm still waiting for ports of at least being able to, because you can do backwards compatibility on Xbox, but it would be rad to be able to play 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation.
I still have 1 and 2 on my Steam account because they did this weird thing where you could get the first 2, but then 3 only came out for Origin because EA, butt fuckery.
Yeah.
What is this butt fuckery?
Tom fuckery. You let that Tom fuckery continue?
I always kind of felt like Jennifer Hill was always overshadowed by Mark Lear.
Well, it's because he's been the main character for the first 2. I don't recall. You couldn't be her in the first 2, could you?
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah.
Because I just never explored that. But I remember in 3 because they had when you bought 3, you could do the flip the box art.
Yeah, it wasn't a really big deal until 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 3 they kind of made it well known, but yeah, I played through 3 as both him and FemShep, and I enjoyed 3 up until the end, and then when they were like, "Oh, here's DLC to try and fix it," and they're like, "No,
it's already too late.
The damage is done."
And can we talk about the LGBTQ presence in the game too? Because whether you were male or female,
they were one of the first.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They start dude, they really were trailblazers in that aspect.
Because no matter what character you played, you could sleep with whoever you wanted to.
Oh, okay.
You'd build relationships with them, and then they'd get to a point where
I still remember the report on Fox News talking about how sex in video games, what you should know, and it was it's just replaying the same clip from Mass Effect 1 of FemShep sleeping with one of the blue aliens.
Yeah, I feel the only thing you need to know is no STDs.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing you need to know is that there's not an actual full-blown sex scene in the game, in any of the games. But the one thing that I will give Ass Effect Suckdromata, as I like to call it, is the fact that Camille Nanjiani was one of the voices of the aliens.
Wow.
Okay.
And he's from Silicon Valley and
what?
Yes, he was yes, he remembers me playing Mass Effect. She was like, "Oh my god, it was so annoying." So, number 12, we're kicking it old school with Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man is the second game in the Pac-Man series, released in arcades in February 1982. Miss Pac-Man introduced a female protagonist, 4 different mazes, more colorful graphics, and several gameplay changes. The game was developed by Illinois-based Midway Manufacturing, the North American distributor of the original Pac-Man, without the involvement or permission of the Pac-Man creator Namco.
Oh shit.
Miss Pac-Man was the most successful American-produced arcade game of 1982, selling 115,000 arcade cabinets, and became one of the most popular arcade games of all time. It was eventually adopted as an official title by Namco.
It cannot be overstated the importance of Mrs. Pac-Man. Or Miss Pac-Man. Widely known as the best version of Pac-Man.
Yeah, I mean, it is Miss Pac-Man. She's a strong, independent woman.
That's
don't
right.
need no man.
She don't need no Pac-Man.
No. Which I always thought was weird because as I saw it, they were like, so I guess they weren't married.
They were living in sin.
Yeah,
they were living in sin.
Can you imagine? I would not be the least bit surprised for gaming, like people that, the news to get all like up in arms about it. Like, what?
Yeah.
30 years later, Fox News, recent reports show that Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man were never married.
Is this the example you want to prove to your kids? Number 11 is the women of Overwatch.
This is my fucking shit right here.
Instead of repetitive characters, Overwatch made sure that each class and character has a unique playstyle in addition to a unique design and personality. That is a weird way to spell personality.
I had to write this one myself. Yeah, like I couldn't, like, there wasn't a copy paste type of thing. So fuck you, okay?
This is all Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, most of it is, but the women of Overwatch I had to write.
I was like, should we be citing our sources?
They know,
but if it's public knowledge,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the characters of Sombra and Orisa, we see different products of prodigies. Body types are also Body types are also not all the same with characters like Zarya, May,
Brigitte.
I thought it was Brigitte.
No,
Brigitte. She's not
a bread.
Yeah, she's not a long bread.
Or Bridget.
Maurice. It's Brigitte. The
Brigitte. Brigitte?
That's how they say it in the game.
Are you serious?
Oh my god.
What's her name?
I've literally never played Overwatch.
What are her?
Literally go fuck yourself.
Well, just read it the way I'm telling you to read it. Then why would you question that shit? Hey Tony! We got a white guy over here.
They're being mean.
Is it,
Tony's gonna
like
tell you to shut
Finnish
the
or
fuck up.
Swedish?
Yeah, they're Swedish. Yeah,
they're Swedish. So
Swedish.
Brigitte.
Brigitte.
Brigitte being
No, just read the whole thing over.
Fuck me.
Fuck your life.
Body types are also not all the same with characters like Zarya, May, Brigitte being non-traditional body types. There have also been LGBT. You got too many goddamn letters in this.
LBXM.
That's what it is.
There has also been LGBTQ representation in Tracer and generational togetherness in Ana and Farah.
Yo, May thick as fuck.
Thick as fuck, bruh.
Also, it came out a while ago that I believe, who is it? Soldier had an LGBTQ past.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Cole can't read and Eddie can't write.
It's true.
Oh, dude, no, I will. We'll be here for another hour if we start talking.
Yeah, same here, dude. Like, just like these, like, some of the women are more preferable for me to play than the men are. Like, even like with new additions like Ashe.
Oh, dude, Ashe is slowly taking over as my new main character.
And I mean, like, a lot of them.
Rule 34 too.
I believe you.
Reddit's been ablaze lately.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no, these like, it's so cool to see that though. Like, to see how, like, they're not just these like linear sexy women, you know, that are there for like sex appeal.
Like, for example, in the backstory, the guy that Doomfist, he's one of the characters you can play. He's got this giant gauntlet, and he steals he breaks into this town in Africa, and he steals the gauntlet. And then there's a girl that lives there that takes a broken, what are they called? The OR-15s from like the Resistance, and she rebuilds it. She's like this little girl. She rebuilds it into Orisa, which is like this giant tank of a character that has like 4 legs and can throw out a shield.
Yeah.
And
another like version of the Prodigy thing.
Yeah, like all of the women in Overwatch have these like incredible backstories. Like Sombra was like a young hacker that just went rogue. What's her name? Symmetra was like trained by this like science company. That's where she has all of her abilities. Yeah,
Zarya is a female bodybuilder.
Yeah, Tracer obviously is a She got
She
got stuck in like a
time.
She has to wear this thing on her chest, or else she'll keep getting sucked back in time.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, they came out and announced that she was a lesbian. So that was
just
a big moment.
It's just really cool how fleshed out these women are. They're not just women characters in a game. They're like they're people with stories and like in depth, character builds and shit. And
a lot of people don't know the backstories either. And personally, like whenever they release a new short about a backstory, like I'm all over that shit. So yeah, no, I love Overwatch, and all the women characters are badass in that game.
Hold on. Brandy says, Nick, we need to play Magic soon.
Yes, we do.
What? Cole, that's her mother's middle name.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
She's gonna tell her.
She's also already Tracer.
I mean, you can go for it, but yeah, she's already Tracer.
I'm already Tracer.
Wait, is it Bridget or is it Brigitte, the middle name?
Fuck if I know. That's her.
You said that you knew that though.
I didn't know that her mom's middle name was Brigitte.
How is it pronounced?
Is it pronounced like Overwatch, or is it pronounced?
You tell us now.
Oh, Bridget.
We'll wait.
Don't worry.
I mean, there is a delay. So we could just sit here staring like morons, or
just like,
what about Widowmaker?
I'm already Genji.
Okay. So before I start though, how's that pronounced? The second line from the bottom.
Vanille.
Vanille. Okay.
Oh.
Because I was like, it could be vanille,
vanille.
it could be vanilla.
Mm-hmm. It's vanille.
Okay.
Huh.
All right. Number 10 is the women of Final Fantasy. The women of Final Fantasy are
What's up with you today, man?
I don't know, dude.
It's kind of weird.
You're kind of weird.
Your mom's kind of weird.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
What's up?
You know what I mean.
What's up with that?
Okay. The women of Final Fantasy are a particularly... Why am I stumbling over particularly?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I can say it perfectly then.
It's almost Kermit the Frog.
Particularly.
Ray Romano.
That actually is funny because I watched this video the other day of Ray Romano telling people how to mimic him. And
no, are you serious?
No, seriously.
Did he make a Kermit joke?
Yeah, he did. Because
dude.
it was like some rules to follow when trying to impersonate Ray Romano.
Yeah.
And one of them, he was like, Don't go Kermit the Frog.
Don't
that's
go
too far.
Kermit. Oh
that's
my god.
That's too far.
That's so funny.
You need to pull it back.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
I'm Ray Romano.
But anyway, particularly. See? So let's try it. The women of Final Fantasy are... God damn it!
I'm going home.
Particular set of skills. I will find
Why
you,
are there so many?
and I will kill you.
The women of Final Fantasy are a particularly diverse bunch, ranging the spectrum from lighthearted comic relief to serious badass. I did it!
You did it!
Yay!
Yay! Fans flock to these characters for their depth and their amazing fighting skills. Whether you enjoy the childlike innocence of someone like Vanille or the unwavering strength of Lightning, there is always a female character to relate to.
Yo. Lulu.
Oh, from 10?
Mm.
Yeah, she got some big money bags.
Get you a goth GF like Lulu.
Right? Big titty got you.
Yeah.
You know,
What the hell?
the women of
very quickly.
the women of Final Fantasy are a lot like how I feel about Zelda. They really do break that trope of, damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Like the first one that I can think of is Terra from Final Fantasy VI. She's being manipulated by the Empire, and she eventually breaks free and then realizes that she's got a way bigger purpose in her life. And then you've got like Tifa, who's this super strong
Bernita.
That's what she's
Okay, yeah, that's okay. We've got clarification now.
That's badass, by the way.
We've got Tifa, that's like this strong, independent woman that owns a bar and everything, but she's part of the.
Is she a queen?
She's definitely a queen.
She's a queen in my book.
Queen Tifa.
She's
La
Queen Tifa.
La Queen Tifa, yeah.
She's best girl in Final Fantasy VII for sure. And even like Aerith. I call her Aerith. I know she's technically Aerith, which is stupid. It's like
is she from Spain?
Well, no, it's like one of those
like
things.
Somebody with a speech impediment trying to say Aerith.
Because it's like, what is it, people from Spain? Their S's, they pronounce them with THs. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, it was like a lost in translation thing in between, you know, like Japanese and English. But I call her Aerith just because that's what I grew up with. But like, you know, she was one of the one of the most shocking moments in video game history when, you know, Sephiroth comes down and kills her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's that, and then like Yuffie. You know, obviously there's what the hell's the girl from 9? Garnet. And then there's like, you know, more contemporary examples like
I definitely haven't fantasized about any of these women.
No,
ever.
Not even especially not Tifa. No. I didn't almost buy a body pillow sleeve of Tifa Comic-Con.
I didn't have a bookmark of an anatomically correct statue saved his hair long.
I can say that I did not when I never was into Final Fantasy.
Yes, true.
You should try 7. You should definitely try 7. It's coming to
coming to Switch.
It's coming to Switch. Yeah, I've already got that big pre-ordered, dog.
What about the Resident Evil games?
That's not.
Are we doing a thing? Are we all?
It's not. No, I'm gonna get the physical of those ones for sure. I don't think 4 is getting a physical release for Switch, but I know that 1 and 0 are for Switch. So I'm definitely gonna pick those up. And then, I'll probably buy Resident Evil 4 for the 97th fucking time.
Same, bro.
Dude.
That game has gotten so much.
I really hope that they incorporate some motion controls. I'm sorry, like, the Wii version of Resident Evil 4 is the best version, just because you have those opportunities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be so cool if they did that with the Switch. I doubt it, but...
Staying on the Final Fantasy thing, the fact that I guess even Lightning and even Una, like, kind of, Lightning has more games based around here, but Una had 10-2, right?
10-2,
yeah. So, like, the fact that these women are, like, getting, you know, their own spin-off games says something, too.
Well, I feel like that was 13. I have this theory that 13, the only reason why we got so many versions of 13 is because they had to justify the amount of money that they put into creating that engine. You know, and then
you want to talk about god awful summons? Like 13 is the first thing that comes to my mind.
I have never played 13. I've never understood the hate for 13.
Everything else is good. I haven't played 13-2 or Lightning Returns, but my god, the summons, for example, when you summon
Switch Gang.
Is it Ifrit in 13?
Yeah, Ifrit.
Yeah. You summon him, he comes down, he attacks with you. And then you go into Gestalt mode, which turns him into a fucking horse.
I'm already out.
And you get on the horse.
You said Gestalt mode. I'm already out.
And then Shiva turns into like a motorcycle that snow rides. Which,
It was.
I think Transformers.
I think it was. It was really just. I don't know. I think 13 really tried to like edge out their summons.
I will give them though the combat system, because that shit,
the combat system was
fire.
The dopest fucking thing about that game. I really liked that. And then like after a while, I just lost interest.
So you had like each character had a role, and you could upgrade their roles. So for example, Hope, he's this little whiny bitch of a kid, but he's a good medic. Like he can heal all the time.
So he's the little kid. Who's is his name Snow?
Snow is
voiced by Troy Baker.
He did that song Informer.
So you've got like, can I take jokes that no one will understand for 400?
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
I would like to get a comment count of who thought
all my old
Snow
people,
Informer.
All my old people will get that.
I love you.
Anyways.
All my old ass motherfuckers.
I say
I always thought.
You never heard that song?
No.
Are you fucking serious?
Dude, you need to look. We'll look that up.
Yeah.
We gotta look that up before y'all go.
Oh God.
The first time I heard
those
that,
are the actual lyrics.
The first time I heard that, I was like, why is he licking people's bum bums?
Yeah. Lick it, boom, boom, yeah.
Gross.
It was weird.
Austin Miller says Cole is the GOAT. Don't fucking gas him up like that.
You know it.
Don't fucking gas him
He
up.
doesn't need a bigger
gassing.
head.
Why the fuck are you gonna say that?
You a real one, dog.
A real
Hey,
kiss ass.
no new friends. Day one. Austin Miller up in here.
All right. So next up, we have a character from one of the coolest recent games ever released, Clementine from Telltale's The Walking Dead. She's a fictional character in the Walking Dead episodic adventure video game series, a spin-off of the Robert Kirkman comic of the same name by Telltale Games. She is non-playable in the first season, turned the playable protagonist in the second and fourth, and the secondary playable protagonist in the third, alongside Javier Garcia. She was voiced by Militia.
It's the Hutchinson Militia.
She just carries around a rebel flag.
It's the Hutchinson Militia.
She's voiced by an entire female militia.
Don't tread on me!
Voice lines.
We're gonna throw our canned preserves at you.
Don't tread on me!
Don't step on Snack.
Oh God.
All right. We'll try that again. Take two.
Don't step on Snake.
Let's see. She was voiced by Melissa Hutchinson and was written by several people. In the first season, Clementine is a young 8 to 9-year-old girl living with her parents in an Atlanta suburb whose parents left for Savannah, leaving her with a babysitter. She's forced to join a group of survivors in an effort to find safety in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. Through her story, Clementine develops a strong bond with Lee Everett, a former university professor and convict who becomes a parental figure to her.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Lee. If you haven't played the game yet, though, sorry.
This does contain
You've had
spoilers.
tons of time to play that damn
This
game.
does contain spoilers. Being one.
Can I take weird shit white people do for $500?
Hey, Obama does the same thing.
I know.
Well, that's his white hat.
Only because he was in the White House. Being one of the first elements created for the game, Clementine was designed to act as a moral compass for the player, in addition to an influence on the player's decisions, to which the player would have to reflect upon.
Gangster.
That first game is super important. Like, you really should. Even if you don't play any of the others, you should. You
can now just buy them all on PS4 or Xbox, like bundled together.
Yeah.
I need to go and do that because
Well,
honestly, there are
rest in
only
peace, Telltale.
two
Or
games
something
that
like
got it right in the Telltale series, and that was Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us, which
Eddie will fight
sadly
you.
did not get a season 2 because of the shutdown.
Yeah. I've yet to play The Wolf Among Us, and I really want to do that.
That you need to play. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, anybody, like, if you consider yourself a Walking Dead fan at all, if you consider yourself a fan of zombies, you really do owe it to yourself to play that first season of The Walking Dead.
And
It is
also,
something special.
Tales from the Borderlands was a good one too. And
I didn't play
Eddie,
that one.
you played the Back to the Future one, right?
I did. Back to the Future was one of the very first Telltale games that came out, and
With Jurassic Park.
yeah, it was one of the coolest.
I didn't know they did a Jurassic Park one.
Yeah. Number 8, Misty from the Pokemon series. Misty, known as Kasumi in Japan, is a fictional character in the Pokemon franchise owned by Nintendo and created by Satoshi Tajiri. She has appeared as a gym leader in the Pokemon video games Pokemon Red and Blue, Pokemon Gold and Silver, and their respective remakes. She was a protagonist in the ongoing anime for the first 5 seasons, traveling alongside Ash Ketchum.
Protagonist. She was just a whiny.
She was just along because she needed to have Ash pay for a new bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just a user.
Traveling alongside Ash Ketchum and Brock to become the world's best trainer of Water-type Pokemon. Before departing home to Cerulean City to run
Cerulean Citadel.
Before departing home to Cerulean City to run the family gym.
Yo, check this out. I found this the other day on the App Store. There's an app called Pokemon TV, and you can watch like anything that they've ever made.
Oh, that's
for
free.
Show Angela. Yeah. Well, I like look at her, it. Like show it to her because she's doing it. She
Pokemon TV.
I remember, like playing Pokemon on the Game Boy. Like, she was one of the very first badass females that I remember.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because she ran a gym. You know, she wasn't like a damsel in distress.
Right.
She had these monsters at her disposal, and she was just kicking ass.
She had red hair.
She was a redhead. She was the first redhead I was ever attracted to.
Me and Derek have seen quite the cosplays of her at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
Rule, what is it, 34?
Rule 34.
Yeah. Rule 34 of Misty is probably the coolest thing.
And if you understand, then we'll leave it at that.
We're not going to explain.
If not,
Google it.
Yeah.
I'm not new to this crowd.
Oh, I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Number 7 is Ellie.
Ellie is a bit. I'm just gonna steal it.
No, fuck you. This is mine, motherfucker. This is mine.
Fine.
Number 7 is Ellie from The Last of Us. Ellie is a fictional character in the 2013 video game The Last of Us, and the main protagonist of the upcoming video game The Last of Us Part 2. In the first game, the character Joel is tasked with escorting Ellie across the post-apocalyptic United States in an attempt to create a potential cure for an infection to which Ellie is immune. The character has been well received by critics, with Ellie's relationship with Joel most frequently in the subject of praise. The strength and complexity of her character and its subversion of the damsel in distress stereotype have also been commended. Ellie's role in Left Behind's plot has been, which is the DLC for The Last of Us, has been prompted some social commentary within the industry, with coverage focusing on a scene depicting LGBT themes. Both the character and voice actor Ashley Johnson's performance received numerous awards and nominations, and have regularly been placed favorably in polls and lists.
Like this one. I did not like that scene because she's at the time as far as the game is concerned, she's in these are two underage girls that they're throwing this hot steamy scene, and I was like, oh, what? No, ooh.
I don't think it's hot and steamy at all.
It's a quick pack. The one where they kiss each other for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I just didn't like. That just weirded me out. I just didn't like.
Really?
It. Yeah,
I'm indifferent to it. I don't really care. A lot of people want to go down the route of oh, you're shoving your social justice down our throats. It's I don't see
totally
that at all.
Fine with it. Even if that were the case, totally fine with that. But and I'm it doesn't bother me that they had a scene like that. I just felt like it was a little.
The performance and the way that they went about it, you felt was weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked the Left Behind DLC just because it was more Last of Us.
Yeah, oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
No,
so it's
I was totally...
I didn't really care. I know that, anything more Ellie was something that I was always looking for. I really, if this isn't already known, I really, really love this game a lot. I feel like Ellie and Joel are two of the most human portrayed, some of the most realistically portrayed humans in video game history. And obviously all the props goes to Naughty Dog and from the gameplay trailer of Last of Us Part 2, holy hell.
Well, and I know
nothing has got me more excited.
Which, by the way, since we didn't do news, I'll just bring this up for a brief second. It's rumored to be coming out in October. And there's more and more articles saying that.
Take my money.
Now,
rumored.
And I know I haven't played nearly as many video games as you guys have. So maybe this isn't saying much. But I mean,
played The Last of Us.
The Last of Us is the absolute just best fucking game for me of all time.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that game.
Joel being voiced by the GOAT.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
Totally.
I don't know. Ellie is is an insanely progressive character in terms of quality voice acting and realistic portrayals of human emotions. And I mean, I could literally go on forever. I think Ellie is one of the most important characters in all the video games.
Well, and because there wasn't even like really a time where at the beginning she, like, it wasn't like she had to kind of come into being a badass.
Yeah.
Like, she was just, from the word go, she was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, no, dude, her and Joel were like at each other's throats the whole time.
I just think it, like something I gotta get off my chest because it really bugs me. A lot of people were so upset when they found out that Ellie was a lesbian.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you worried about her being a lesbian? She's 13 years old. Yeah, she's 14 years old.
She's fictional.
Like, why do you care?
Did that ruin your little girl fantasy there?
Yeah, no shit. Like, get over it, dude.
Like, she was like, she's super young, so she didn't really know, like, what was going on.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
That's just the way the world is and human emotions. The human mind is so complex that people don't even know.
Because that's about the time for anyone, really, when, like, those things start coming into your mind. Like,
and not only that, it's a post-apocalyptic world where literally every single thing in the world is trying to kill you.
You've got a few other concerns.
Yeah. I just, the amount of backlash that came from that amazing fucking trailer from E3, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, where it showed off gameplay, I just couldn't believe the amount of backlash where it's like, oh, Naughty Dog's got an agenda trying to force down all this gay shit. And it's like...
That's the shit that bothers me. Like, well, gay people exist, so why the fuck not show them? Like,
not only that it's their story that they want to tell.
Right.
It's not your story. Exactly. Just because you don't like an aspect of it doesn't mean it's a shitty story.
Well,
I can't stand these people,
dude. It's being shoved anywhere. It's just that's what they decided to do.
Who gives a shit if she's gay, dude? It's just part of her. Like, there's more to a human being than just being gay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, not only is she, I mean, she's a hugely independent, like, badass kid. Like, she's super efficient.
Like, I feel like people just want something to harumph about.
Yeah, it's 100%.
And that's just them going,
I just want to tell them to, like,
something to latch on to.
Like, get over it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
If you don't like it, don't buy it. Don't play it.
Yeah.
And then you have that whole part of the game where you're detached from Joel and, like, fending for yourself. And then
which is like easily one of the most memorable parts of the video game ever.
It shows up and
getting the gear and everything.
Like, helps you, and then it turns out that he's a fuckstick.
Voiced by Nolan North, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, the crazy cannibal guy.
I did not know.
No, she is insanely important to progressing into the medium of video games. For sure.
Like, if you took any, maybe I was going to say any character, but if you took, like, any of those two out of the game, there would be no Last of Us.
Exactly.
It's either both of them or none.
I mean, that world exists, but it's a lot less compelling, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what up, Mikey? That is 100% what that story is all about, is that relationship.
Don't Google it.
Don't Google what?
Don't Google
34.
Oh.
I mean, that's why that game is so compelling, is the relationship between Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
And how they just, like, he thinks that she's a little, shit. Like, who the fuck is this guy that's trying to, like, cart me around, and then they finally realize, oh shit. Like,
well, she's like never really had a father figure.
Ellie's like a miniature Joel. Like,
she's just crotchety.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
and doesn't give a fuck.
She doesn't take shit, Like.
Well, I mean, taken to the fact that Joel is insanely damaged.
Oh yeah.
Like, he had a daughter that died in his arms
Don't talk about it. Don't talk.
I know, but it's like
get me all emotional.
I know, I can't even. I'm so excited. So I bought that PS4 for my little brothers, and I'm going to take The Last of Us over and play it with my dad.
Oh,
I am so fucking excited to be able to do that, just because, like, I can't wait to show him that it's like, it's not all, jumping on turtles, that it's shit. And, it is, like, this is what the medium is today, because I really do feel like if I had to sit someone down from like the 1700s and be like, this is what we do for entertainment today, I would show them The Last of Us.
Absolutely.
I really
and that's the thing is just like, when did it come out? 2013?
2013.
2013. So it's not even what the medium is today, it's what the medium was 6 years ago.
Like honest to God, like, has anybody really raised the bar any further?
Well, I was gonna say, and that's what's crazy. Is
like, not
that's
even Uncharted 4.
The benchmark.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, like, God of War got
not in
close.
terms of like, you know, like storytelling. You know, I mean, Red Dead came pretty damn close.
Yeah.
But like, and the fact that, like, not even just for this episode, but the fact that we all still talk about it today, like 6 years later.
It's an institution. Like, plain and simple, The Last of Us is one of those things, just like we were talking about with GTA in the last episode, where there are games before it and games after it.
Exactly.
I have an idea for a future episode.
Would you shut that? I just want to make sure we're not getting any noise from.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's just an insanely deeply human story, and I feel like that's why it resonated with so many people. And then the people that say that The Last of Us is overrated, go read a book. Yeah, because obviously you're not into video games.
See that's such a weird notion.
I'm fucking crying right now. Like, that game is it's so good. It's so good. It's not like I'm not. It's just like it just.
Get off me, you fucking.
Just thinking about like how
Tony.
Hey Tony, come take care of this movie.
You
guys are holding each other ever so gently.
These guys are holding each other ever so gently.
What the fuck's up with this, huh?
Oh god.
It's the last time I ever showed you mooks in love.
What was that scene from a 40-year-old virgin? Like, you know how I know you two are gay? Because you're caressing each other ever so gently.
Why do you always tell me to fucking go?
I damn you!
I don't know how I know you're gay, because you like cold.
You listen to cold.
Now I know you're gay because you have a sticker on your car that says, I love it when balls are in my face.
That's gay?
How people at the poster store laugh at you when you framed an Asia poster.
I didn't laugh, okay? No, like, seriously though, that, like, I openly wept after that first scene.
You have no heart.
I did the first time, and I've played through that game once on PS3 because when it came out, my friend let me borrow his system and said, you have to play this game. And I sat down in my room. He had the gold standard for the wireless headphones for PS3 at the time. So I just, like, locked myself in, and, like, before I knew it, like, 6 hours had gone by.
Yeah. And
then I played it through 3 more times on PS4.
Oh, God. You want to talk
every single time. Without fail.
Yeah. That game came out when I was very, very dark time in my life, which is probably why it resonates so well.
I thought you were going to say, which is the same as now.
Yeah. We all go through different periods of darkness. You know what I'm saying? No, I was starting a brand new job. I bought my PS3 that I played The Last of Us on with my very first paycheck from Gosner's, which is kind of like a milestone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I remember I had The Last of Us pre-ordered before I even had a fucking PS3. Like, I remember thinking, like, this is a game that I need to get. Just like watching the trailers and shit, and like if you're feeling some type of way, you should go to YouTube and go to the PS4 trailer for The Last of Us, which uses Something in the Way by Nirvana.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Well,
what a trailer.
Was it you that told me about Last of Us?
Yes, I did. I was the one that told you about it. Yeah.
When it got announced and came out on PS4, I had the game pre-ordered, but I was living, actually, I live now at North Point. I was living with Fishy and Mikey.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And we were in the 400 building, and I had the game pre-ordered, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be at work like when this comes out the next morning, and I was like, I have to get this like today. Like, there's no waiting.
Yeah.
And so I told one of them, either Fishy's girlfriend or Mikey at the time. I was like, I'm gonna call GameStop, give them permission. Please go down and get this for me, like while I'm at work. And I came home and like it was sitting on the counter, and I was like, oh, I just like open it and ran into my room. Like, where are you going? I'm like, no time.
I don't know if he's watching anymore, but Austin Miller, he lived with me for a little bit, and he had the hardest time because like we would go out and we would do things, you know. But like when this game came out, there was no going anywhere. There was not doing anything. I was in my room playing this game.
Like, so before, you know, had this game come out, or had I played this game prior to having a child,
Yeah.
like I don't think I would have been as emotionally wrecked. Like I definitely would have been, but it probably
I can't even imagine.
It probably would have been more of a sort of.
You know what the coolest thing about what they've done with the game is they haven't done it recently, probably because it's, you know, too far past its prime.
Yeah.
But for the past 3 years, they would put the game on sale on September 26th, which is the day that the outbreak happened in the game.
Wow.
I mean, dude, you can get that game for $7-8 at any time. Like it really does make me sad. Like because that game is worth 3 full price games in my opinion. That game is really
I
paid
the full $60 to get it when it came out on PS4.
I paid twice. Like I didn't give a shit. It was one of the first games I bought for my PS4 too. It's one of it really is like one of those life-changing games, and like especially, you know, not even counting for the opening moments is, you know, what Franklin and Sam. There's his name Franklin. I know it's Sam, but it's the 2 black guys. Or the black guy and the black kid.
Yeah.
There's Sam and what's the older kid or the older guy's name? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But like they're not in the game at all, but their impact is so big.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's that level of care for storytelling, for, you know, for purpose. Everything about that game. I know that we were talking about Ellie and we kind of got
I mean, we can we I don't.
But you can tell. Yeah.
We need to do an episode.
We really need to do an episode on The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We need to do one on Naughty Dog.
Oh yeah.
And we can, that way it's kind of more broad, and then we could, you know, as soon as we get the Last of Us, we can go on another
idea for an episode though, and this might be very hard to do, but much like this one, top 20 greatest games.
I always kind of wanted to do like a personal top 5. Like,
see, I wanted to do like a knitting episode where we just sit and
a top 5 for each of us.
Well, I mean, that way we could, you know, and then obviously we could do that too.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to do top 10 though.
I hear Joanne is busy.
That could be one of our debates where it's like, all right, we could. You know, one brings like.
No, for some John.
So 4,
He's
we could all bring 3
you know?
games.
You know who I saw at the market?
All right.
Hold on. Do any of you play Destiny 2? Because it would be nice to have a local podcast that talked about what was getting nerfed and what was getting buffed for PvP and PvE.
Yeah, I haven't played Destiny 2 for a minute, sadly, but I still have it, and they're starting to drop the price of what's it called? The latest expansion, like the big one. If you can reply in time, help me out here.
I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
But they had Warmind and the Curse of Osiris, the 2 main ones.
Yeah.
And then the last one, which is like their overpriced one.
It's
like,
the Save Cade one.
Yeah. It was like $40 when it came out, but they keep dropping that down, and I eventually want to get that.
You know what I'll say, Mike, is I did play Destiny 2 when it first came out. I will tell you now that I'm 120% more interested in Destiny now that it is not owned by Activision. I'll tell you that right now. Whatever Bungie does next, I'm going to be there day one. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
Because I can't.
No, not the black. The name of the expansion.
So what I did is I went on this
Forsaken.
That's yes.
What we did to make the list, Brandy, is I just Googled everything. Like I went on this 2-hour Google search for badass women in gaming, And then what we did is we took 40 of them, then made our own lists, compiled an average list, and then discussed between ourselves which number goes where.
I mean, it definitely, it's open to interpretation.
Absolutely, this is our list.
Like we were saying beforehand, like, oh, I would have placed this higher, and then it's all subjective. Honestly, I feel like this is more just a list for us to talk about how badass these women are in general.
Do we all have the ones that we made? Because we could just run through them.
I didn't rank them. All I did was I just put a list of who I wanted to make.
I did say, I was telling Eddie, I was like, after looking at the original list, I was like, Misty needs to be a lot higher.
Yeah.
Than she was, because she was originally toward, Ellie.
Yeah, because Ellie
needed to be. That's right.
Ellie was over toward the bottom of the list.
Yeah, Ellie was at the bottom, and I was like, But now we come to Claire Redfield. Number 6.
Segway.
Well, I was just going to say Claire, but then I was like, well, in case somebody doesn't know. Anyway, from the Resident Evil series, which I love. I love it. I love it.
Well, you gotta be so fucking awkward, bud.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward.
I love it. Claire Redfield. Claire Redfield is a fictional character in the Resident Evil Biohazard in Japan horror franchise by Capcom. Claire is the younger sister of Chris Redfield, an American special police officer, and is herself a protagonist of the video games Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil Code Veronica, where she is a zombie outbreak survivor turned out vigilante. She returned as an She returned as an abducted activist in the video game Resident Evil Revelations 2 after being absent from the main series for a decade and a half since Code Veronica.
God, I gotta play those games.
Yo, Code Veronica is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Code Veronica was one of those really scary ones.
You can buy it on PS4. I bought it for like $20, but it is so hard to play because you still have those old tank camera controls.
Yeah. See, that's the one that adopted more of a dynamic camera scheme, though. Like, it would, it was still fixed, but it would, follow you down a hallway or something. But, much like Devil May Cry.
There's a scene where because in Code Veronica, you are in a jail on, an Alcatraz island type jail, and you just have to figure out what the fuck's going on and get out.
Yeah.
And you go into these, barracks that are after you get out of your cell, and you search this house, you get your ammo, and then you come walking out, and there's a cutscene where you're walking down the stairs, but there's a camera that's moving closer towards your
pans,
feet.
yeah.
And then you come back that way around the corner, and how there's the basements of a house, it has a screen doors.
Yeah.
A dog just jumps out of the screen door.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have the aiming like you do in the remake of 2. You just have to up or down.
I have both Revelations 1 and 2 for the Switch.
Those games are fun.
I have to play them, dude. I have to dedicate some time to play.
Barry is in Revelations 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it Barry's daughter?
Yeah.
That plays with Claire, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Code Veronica, you could get double Uzis.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing, is a lot of people want to talk shit on 4 and 5 for taking the series in a more action-oriented, ridiculous, state of affairs.
Yeah.
But it was really Code Veronica that really kind of started all this shit. All the wonky, movie tropes.
Mm-hmm.
They were, the movies are making a lot of money, so this is obviously what people want out of Resident Evil is action, 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 explosions, and grenade launchers and shit.
Explosion!
You know what I mean?
Explosions!
That's kind of one of those mysterious things that nobody really nobody really knows is that, because I don't feel like a lot of people played.
Brian! Hey!
Yeah, it was.
I don't really think a lot of people played Code Veronica.
So,
it was definitely one of those ones that
I had it on PS2, and I think it even came out on Dreamcast.
It did,
and I had it there.
It was a Sega console. I can't remember if it was Dreamcast or. obviously it had to be Dreamcast.
I think it was, but no, that game is hard as fuck.
Yeah,
like, it's so hard.
So I do want to bring it back to Claire here, at least with the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah.
Because I had so not that I didn't have an awesome, amazing time with my first playthrough with Leon, but I loved the Claire playthrough.
You liked it better than Leon?
I did.
Really?
I had more fun with Claire, and she gets the fucking most badass guns.
Yeah.
And I was like, where the fuck was this shit?
Yeah.
Like
the guns in the
ripped.
Yeah, the guns in her playthrough are definitely funner. I prefer Leon's just because they're faster, and especially for those speedrunning trophies which were a bitch, by the way. Those trophies were so hard.
Did you finish that?
I did. I got the platinum.
You did?
Yeah. It was like one of the most satisfying things I think I've ever done.
I got it on PC because I decided I wanted to try and stream it, and I just didn't want to do remote play from my PlayStation, so I still wanted my stream layout.
Yeah.
And I got I acquired it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I acquired it.
Legal means.
Yeah. And it was, I didn't realize that it was the special edition, so I got like the Claire's Noir costume with the film filter where you could turn it black and white.
Nice.
And so I put her in the Noir costume, and I forgot that I put fucking Leon in the sheriff's outfit with like the hat, the brim hat. And when she ran into him, like when you go off the balcony, when you run into him, and he's like, Claire, and he's like, just decked out in like this dopey sheriff's outfit, like started laughing. I was like, fuck, I forgot about that.
Did either of you play the DLC, the Ghost Survivors?
I haven't. I played a little. I haven't played.
My God, is it hard? They are really hard.
I haven't played through them, but I played the. I haven't touched the hunk one because of the difficulty on it. But
that is, I'll tell you what. Right now, the Fourth Survivor is one of the most satisfying things I've ever done as a video gamer. Holy hell! Like just kind of like it's trial and error, and it's constantly like, okay, I screwed up right here, so I got to try and do something different here, and then you just like progressively get further and further. God, Fourth Survivor, the hunk scenario is
the thing that fucked me up when I was first playing it is I started off as the gun shop owner because I'm like, oh, I get to play as him, the dude that you haven't seen since Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And I started playing as him, and I got to the the quarter machine thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit, there's a bunch of stuff in here, and I just picked the first thing on there, which was like an herb, and then it's like, oh, you can't pick anything else from here, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, because I needed ammo.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Just so you know, if you beat all 3 of those campaigns, it unlocks another one. And it's the sheriff that you meet inside the gas station at the beginning of the game. No, but listen, it gets better. Okay? So he survives. Leon doesn't show up. He survives, but you are stuck in that little area of the gas station, that part with the 3 aisles.
Yeah.
You have to kill 100 zombies before you can leave.
What?
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Dead ass. Not only that, but they also throw those weird pale heads.
Oh God, no.
From the
second one, from
the third one.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. The second
one.
Yeah. So they throw those at you. They throw armored zombies at you. They throw zombies at you that have like the gas packs that you can shoot and they explode. Not only that, so it gives you an unlimited pistol.
Oh, nice.
But there's also like challenges where like if you can use less than 60 bullets out of the pistol,
geez.
because they'll have zombies come through with backpacks that have like different weapons. Like there's the little submachine gun. There's the spark shot. There's a flamethrower. Yada yada yada. But yeah, it's fucking impossible, is what it is. Like I tried so many times.
Capcom saying, so you made it this far.
Just like, dude, the level of love that was in that game is insane. Like, it's free DLC, and it's like, guess what? There's another one. You know what I mean? I just thought it was so cool, and I was going through it when I was done platinuming it, and I was like, you know what? I'll try it out.
I remember when the game it wasn't really technically announced, but it was like they were talking about they were gonna start redoing it or whatever, and I was just like, oh fuck, dude, this is gonna get fucked. Like, this is not gonna be good. Somehow. This is gonna suck. And then they showed the trailer at E3, 2 years ago, and
last year,
and I was like, oh fuck, dude!
Just the reveal of like the PlayStation.
I was watching it at your house actually.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
And I was like, what is this, like Ratatouille? Because it just showed the rat running around. And
what a reveal!
Yeah,
that game is the game that it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Because you had no idea what it was until the very end of it.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah, the standout moments is doing the entire playthrough without using a healing item. That was fun. Not at all. And then there was the 14,000 steps.
It's doable because, like you said,
it's definitely doable.
If you play assisted mode and recover your health,
it's still insanely hard.
Yeah.
Because once you get to that 50 mark, it's like you don't go back up to 100%.
Yeah, no, and you're slowed down when you're at that point too.
So it's pretty quick. It's pretty generous, but it's still like when you go up against a boss, like it's basically like putting you in 2 hits you're dead mode. You know what I mean? Like you go in, and whereas if you were playing it like normally, you could heal and then you would be at like 4 or 5 hits before you would die.
Yeah.
It was fine, and at that point I'd run through the game so many fucking times that I had I had tons of ammo here, and like I could easily just blast them away. The item box one was one that really pissed me off. It's beat the whole game without opening the item box once. Which, again, totally doable if you just get like all the packs all wrapped up.
Yeah.
I was halfway done with the game and I opened the item box.
Oh.
And Angela called me and she was like, I think she was coming home or something. And I was like, God damn it. And I answered the phone and I'm like, hello? And she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just fucked everything up. What's up? Why'd you call me? I was so
and you
sad.
You can't go back to your save point because once you open it.
I'm sure that maybe I could have, but I didn't want to chance it. I didn't want to play the rest of the game and not get the trophy. So I was like, fuck it, we'll do it live. I'll just restart it. God, that game is so good.
It really is, and it just goes because I'm playing through Claire's second playthrough on PS4, and then I started like an entire new game on PC, like for when I want to stream it.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm still playing through the Survivor stories, but
Claire ain't got shit on Jill though.
No,
I'm sorry.
Speak of the devil, we are moving on to Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. She's another fictional character in the Resident Evil series, the aforementioned survival horror video game made by Capcom. She's an American counterterrorism officer who works with her partner Chris to fight the Umbrella Corporation, a pharmaceutical company whose bioterrorism creates zombies. She was introduced as one of 2 playable characters in the original Resident Evil from '96 and has become a central protagonist within the franchise. The character has featured The character has been featured in subsequent games in the series, as well as associated novelizations and merchandise, along with several titles released by other gaming franchises, including Marvel vs. Capcom and Project X Zone. Her appearance was redesigned on multiple occasions as the series progressed. In later titles, such as Resident Evil, the 2002 remake of the original game, Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles, and Resident Evil 5, her appearance is based on a Canadian model and actor Julia Voth. In the Resident Evil film series, she's portrayed by actress Sienna Guillory.
Yeah, but we don't need to talk about that.
No.
Doug, I don't give a fuck. I love those movies. I really do.
I think the first 3 are fine. I really do. Like, I remember, because the third one is when the world's, like, actually gone to shit and, like, everything's, like, desertified, right?
Yeah. I need to rewatch those.
I think that first one is like, inherently good.
That scene from the first one where she's in the hallway with the lasers and it just cuts that dude up, like, chain link fence style.
Yeah.
I want to know obviously this can be fixed with a simple Google search, but what came first? The Resident Evil 4 part with the lasers in the hallway, or the Resident Evil movie part with the lasers in the hallway? I want to know what came first. I'm going to have to Google that, because very obviously one inspired the other.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be. You know what I mean?
Well, and I remember that, like, going through the Resident Evil 2 remake, where, you go through that little, when you're actually in the underground facility, you go through the cleaning thing. Yeah. I was like, Oh, this reminds me of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I was expecting
Yeah,
that.
Nest was like, it was like a 100% like inspiration love child. Like when you go down into Nest and I was like, holy shit, this is like straight out of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is something I never ever thought that they would do, because
I guess I'm guessing movie came first.
Movie came first.
Brian says movie.
And dude, that
Taz.
I have those two movies on Blu-ray, the first two. I think the first one is just like inherently good.
We should
do a watch party or something.
Yeah, we should get together.
I think the second one is just slightly better because it has a lot of like love in terms of like fandom, like because that's the one where Nemesis shows up, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think, and it's got what the hell's that black guy's name?
Barry?
No, it's Mike Epps.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like in the car. It's like hands down one of the funniest moments in any movie ever, where he's like in the car and he like looks over and they're like zombified strippers, and he's like, ugh. And then there was one in the road and he's like, GTA motherfucker, and they're like, it's way up front.
This is the one where is it the second? Which one had Chris? Is it three? So
well, no.
Is that because the same one?
Is Chris the one that dies in the explosion of the gas tanker? You know what I'm talking about? Where he like sacrifices
Chris
himself.
is played by the dude from Prison Break. I remember that. The guy that gets sent to prison to break his brother out.
The guy that plays Snark.
Wentworth, I think it's Wentworth Miller.
Yeah, and there's that scene where I think I don't know if she's fighting Nemesis or not, but she like does the knee slide underneath him and like guns up towards
I just
him.
remember which one was. I think it was the fourth movie that threw in the Executioner from 5.
Fourth one had Chris.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, because
Okay.
that's where the Executioner came into play.
I just remember thinking like, oh my god. I'm like, the games are fine. Don't ruin them. Like, don't ruin the games. Bringing them into this shitty movie. Oh man. Just progressively as they go on, they just get worse and worse and worse. And man, oh man, God, they're so like those. Like after 3, there's like no justification at all.
Thinking about it for a while because playing through Resident Evil 5, for some reason, Chris reminded me a lot of like, even though he was like ungodly on Swole Patrol in that game, like
punching boulders and shit.
But like his look and his voice kind of reminded me of Paul Walker, and that's kind of who I would like to see play Chris in the movie. You know?
Yeah, that
like
would be cool.
I could totally see that.
Speaking of Paul Walker, I watched the Fast and the Furious today.
Oh yeah.
Your fucking eyes out.
Oh my god, I love that movie. I love all of those movies.
Have you ever
I am
seen...
such a mark. Yeah, I am such a mark for those movies.
And that first one is really special.
What is it? Running Scared?
Yeah, dude, that was such a good movie.
Holy shit.
That was a very underrated movie that Paul Walker was in.
Yeah.
So good.
Very strong movie too.
Yeah, and he wasn't very Paul Walker-y in it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
He was like some like mob dude. And it was just so fucking cool.
So Jill Valentine, I feel like is the female representation of Resident Evil.
Absolutely.
Like that's why I really like her. You know, my first outing with Jill was the 2002 remake on GameCube. And my God, is that game scary. It is still scary today. It's like one of the scariest games I've ever played.
Is it? I have the one that they put on PS4, the original Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's the 2002 remake.
Yeah, and you
should definitely check that
did
out.
It's a great job with that game because that's where they incorporated the fixed camera that they fixed.
Yep.
Where the camera will change, but you can be holding the same direction and you'll still go.
And it's even better on PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's think like the puzzle elements of remake, but like not the over the shoulder, you know, free flowing camera stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
It's like the fixed camera angles where you'll like enter, but it's not nearly in this one. It's not nearly as intrusive as the other ones.
No.
Like I feel like especially 1 and 2 and 3. 3 was a lot better, but like 1 and 2 it was like really bad where it's like you could get stuck in like moving and tank controls and stuff.
Did I show you guys that picture of the game that I found, the Resident Evil 2 on PC that I found on eBay for like $30?
Oh yeah.
Like the original game on PC, and I was like, my God, if I could actually bills didn't take all my money, and if I could afford to get this.
Yeah. And not only that, Jill, to end on Jill, she's forever going to go down in some amount of infamy for the horrendous voice acting in the first game.
Oh my god.
Let's us not forget
Chris!
the Jill sandwich.
Chris!
Oh my god. I'm going to give this to you, the master of unlocking. And he's like, one more second and you would have been a Jill sandwich.
Ridiculous.
It's fucking amazing.
That's when Barry saves her, right?
Yeah, Oh yeah. It's amazing.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
All right.
Brian says they also introduced the Crimson Head zombies.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, that's part of the reason why it's so damn scary. Dude, that game is truly terrifying. It's like one of those games that, like, it just has this inherent creepiness.
Those are motherfuckers that move way faster and harder to kill, too.
So there's an aspect in the game where if you kill a zombie, you have to burn him. So, like, you have to carry around oil and a lighter, and if you don't burn him to death when he'll come back as this thing called a Crimson Head.
Mm-hmm.
They've got kind of like a red tinge to their skin, but they've got like super long claws, and they fucking dead sprint towards you, and they're like they're double as deadly, like they cause twice as much damage, and they do not leave you alone.
Wow.
And there are parts in the game where you have to go against them because either you're gonna run out of oil, or scripted event.
Right.
They are terrifying. They're really scary.
All right. Top 4. And Sadie Adler. Sadie Adler is a fictional character in the video game Red Dead Redemption 2. Sadie becomes a member of the Vanderlyn gang early on in the story. Sadie becomes a member of the Vanderlyn gang early on in the story of Red Dead Redemption 2. Widowed by a rival gang, Sadie strives to fend for herself and not subject herself to the whims of others when she disagrees with them. Sadie becomes a prominent character in the third act and epilogue of the game, ending up as one of the toughest characters in the art.
She was the baddest bitch.
I remember playing through the game, and you save her, and she was always being consoled in the camps that you were in, and then I came back to the camp one day, and out of nowhere, she was just decked out in this outlaw costume, and she's like, Arthur? And I'm like, wait, who the fuck are you? I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, same here, dude. I was like, who are you?
Yeah. And then it's the dialogue came in, and I was like, oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I was like, that's her?
Oh, yeah,
so what I'm going to have to do is, in my next playthrough, I'm going to take a deeper look at her, because I really neglected her a lot during my playthrough. I didn't really pay much attention to her at all. I never talked to her. Outside of, mainline story missions, I never really interacted with her at all.
Because they didn't just go from oh look, we saved this chick to she's the fucking just the goat. They
exactly.
went there's no way they didn't give her some bits of progression here and there that we just didn't know to pay attention to.
Well, that kind of almost happened, in my case, where she just was randomly,
she was just
ready to go.
Yeah, she just, from one day to the next became a fucking
And maybe
badass.
it's because of what you were just saying, Cole, that none of us really, talked to her.
No one really took stock in her character,
So, but...
Yeah, we just didn't pay attention.
I mean, I was so wrapped up in other things.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a while. I have this thing where
wrapped up in howdy fellers and
howdy partners.
And she has she kind of gets she has to overcome getting the shit end of the stick.
She has an inherent tragic story.
You show up at her house ready to take over the house for shelter or whatever, and they're having this big old party, and then all of a sudden a shootout breaks out. And she survives, everyone else dies, and then the house ends up burning down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, hey, we'll take you in. And it's burn down my house, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Killed my entire family.
So we can definitely say that she belongs here in the top 4.
Oh, yeah.
She's one of the most progressive characters, and she's just one of the dopest ones come Act 3 in the epilogue.
Yeah, and she just, doesn't just lay there and take it and go, well, that was my life.
Yeah, exactly. She actually got up and just was like, well, fuck you. I'm gonna fucking kill all of you.
Exactly.
Especially towards the end and like the epilogue when you're in the if you haven't yet, I'm saying it in the epilogue when he plays John and you guys are trying to hunt down Micah. She's like dead set on mostly just finding him. Like she doesn't really want to find Dutch. She wants to find Micah.
Yeah.
Cause fuck.
Number 3 is Bonnie McFarlane, and I like truly do believe that she's way better than Sadie. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, she was the original.
Yeah.
She was the original.
You know what
badass.
I love though is that I haven't played it very much lately because I'm still waiting for it to get the fuck out of beta mode. But Red Dead Online, you can go and do
Red Dead Online.
You can do her missions for her, and she's for game. In the character's reprised and everything.
She's the badass Bonnie Guns.
Well, I mean, and like for me, the reason that she's better. Well, I'll let you read and then we'll read it.
Bonnie McFarlane is a major character and a primary ally of John Marston in Red Dead Redemption, and a minor character in Red Dead Online, which is the online proportion for Red Dead 2. She's also referenced in. Yeah, that's what I just said. Bonnie is the daughter of Drew McFarlane, the owner of the McFarlane Ranch, and has spent her whole life working on the ranch with her father. When she was young, her father hired a French governess, who Bonnie suspected of not truly being French due to the fact that she spoke Russian.
I think that's a pretty good tip. That's a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
Something's off.
To teach her and keep her civilized. She had 6 brothers, but 5 of them died from either illness or foolish choices.
I'll be the first to say here, fuck those cow missions.
Yeah.
Oh no, the first like 2 hours of Red Dead Redemption are horrendously slow.
Yeah.
Like god awful slow. Like that's why I love the opening of Red Dead 2 so much, is because it's like boom, we're in it. We're doing it. You know, like
there's a little bit where you're just trudging through the snow and there's a lot of dialogue, which
I would rather have that.
In Red Dead 2, I was all about the dialogue. That's why I very rarely fast traveled anywhere on a mission, because you have that dialogue with the character.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Red Dead 2, you get to Adler Ranch, and it's just like it's on. But in this one, it's like, oh, our cows got out. Can you come help? And then like, no.
Yeah, like I don't want to do this.
I got better shit to do.
But like I was saying before, Bonnie McFarlane was just a badass from the jump. Yeah. Like that's and she was just that prominent of a character, because you just she heals John, back to good health, and she's just no shits given type character.
She knew that like a little bit later on she could kind of pick up that he was into some shady shit, but she didn't like pry into it or anything.
Yeah.
She was like, all right, that's your business.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Help me do this or whatever.
All right, now we're going to talk about my lady love, the triangle-tittied Lara Croft.
Hey, number 2.
That's a perfect way to introduce her on the 20 Most Badass.
Yeah. Just sexualize the shit out of her.
No. So Lara Croft is a fictional character and the main protagonist of the video game franchise Tomb Raider. She is presented as a highly intelligent, athletic, and beautiful English archaeologist who ventures into ancient tombs and hazardous ruins around the world. So, like, she's like a more badass version of Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
She can always be found, too.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. She's better than Carmen Sandiego.
She's not alluding.
Created by a team at British developer Core Design that included Toby Gard, the character first appeared in the video game Tomb Raider in 1996. Critics consider Lara Croft a significant game character in popular culture. She holds 6 Guinness World Records, has a strong fan following, and is among the first video game characters to be successfully adapted to film.
Sorry.
The character's influence in the industry has been a point of contention among critics. Viewpoints range from a positive agent of change in video games to a negative role model. Yeah, that's great. The character's influence in the industry has been a point of contention among critics. Viewpoints range from a positive agent of change in video games to a negative role model for young girls.
And see, when I first played Tomb Raider, like this was the first time that I had like later on, like when games started progressing and shit, This is the first time I was just like, yeah, this chick's dope. Like, she is not. She is a badass. You know what I mean? Like, she's fucking dope.
Welcome back, Brandy.
Right? She fell asleep.
If you played Tomb Raider if you played Tomb Raider and you didn't lock the butler in the freezer, then you didn't play Tomb Raider.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I feel like it was not only a positive thing for the gaming industry, but it was also a detriment. Just because, like, the later games really focused on the sexualization of Lara Croft. I don't really feel like, for example, the first 2 games were not really at all. Like, it was more on the badassness, the dual wielding.
Well, I was gonna say, unless you're Derek, you can't sexualize her.
I can sexualize anything.
I don't know, and then, like, obviously they're making right with it with the new games. Like, I feel like the Lara Croft that we have today is, like, 100% more compelling than the one that we had in the PlayStation 1 days.
The original Tomb Raider games had, I will go on record as saying, some of the most god-awful controls of all time.
Yeah.
Like, they were infuriating.
Yeah, like, just trying to climb something was, like, the most,
like, I remember it was one of the first couple games, I think it's 1 or 2, but you end up in, like, a jungle, and you're, like, you have to, like, defend yourself from, like, these tigers, and you'll push a button, and she'll just, like, jump backwards.
Yeah.
And then you have to kind of figure out the moves so she can, like, do an aerial while she's shooting, which once you got it down, it was awesome. But
I never ever wanted to do it.
Controls were so bad.
Yeah, I never ever wanted to play that game ever. Like, I'm sorry, that's just something that's just personal opinion. But I took one look at those games and how clunky they were, and like, you know, like the jumping back and like the jumping up, and I'm like, I will take a hard no.
Hard no.
One of my favorites, though, there was a Tomb Raider Underworld, which is like, I think it was one of the first, like, modernized Tomb Raider games, because it was on 360. But there was one before that called Angel of Darkness, where it's, like, not really even set in, like, any tombs. Like, you're basically, like, some agency infiltrates, like, Croft Manor, and you're basically, like, sneaking around trying to find out why they're there.
Yeah.
So you're not, like, you're in a modernized setting. You're not in a tomb or anything like that.
That's dope.
And I was like, this is a new take on it, and I like it. So that was one of my favorite Tomb Raider games. But the new ones are awesome.
I did kind of like that top-down Diablo style. The Osiris.
Yeah, the Origins of something. Origins of Light.
I think you're right. It's something like that.
I thought I had Osiris.
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Temple of Osiris.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, those games were awesome. Like, I absolutely love those games.
Brian, just wait.
We're doing it right now.
We're doing it live.
All right.
Fuck it.
Number one
goes to me.
Yeah. Nick is the
baddest bitch in gaming, Nick Lewis.
She's the Ronda Rousey, the baddest bitch on the planet.
I skipped over my name on the list. For this one right here.
He is best girl.
Drum roll. Samus Aran from the Metroid series.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Couldn't be more fitting. Samus Aran.
Brian.
Pretty cute.
It's Osiris.
He's
I don't think he likes those games.
Well, you don't like them.
Well, tough fucking sledding!
You got a problem with those games, you got a problem with me, and I suggest you let that marinate.
No, absolutely. Who the hell else would be number one?
Yeah.
Samus Aran is the original badass woman in video gaming.
And not only that, it was just like the reveal.
Nobody knew that she was a woman.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
And until the end of the game when, like, the armor came off.
Yeah. I was just like, yes.
You imagine all the butthurt fanboys that were like, "Oh, woman, Tony,
come invent a message board. I got some shit to say.
I'm playing as a woman. You bought me this game, you wank."
and then they put her in Samus and Smash Brothers.
He said he's puking at Nick being on the
list. You know you want it.
How do we remove fans? All right, I'll get on. Samus Aran is the protagonist of the Metroid science fiction action adventure game series by Nintendo. She was introduced in the 1986 video game Metroid. Samus has appeared in every Metroid video game and has also been featured in media outside of the series, including in the Super Smash Bros. Series, and the comic book version of Captain N, the Game Master. Samus was one of the first major female protagonists in a video game, although Tobi Masuyo, or Kissy, from Namco's Alien Sector Baraguke, predates her by 1 year as a female protagonist. 2013's Guinness World Record Gamers Edition declared Samus as the first playable human female character in a mainstream video game, and as being enduringly popular, noting that the series of the Metroid series has exceeded 17.44 million copies as of September 2012.
Amazing.
As a woman in a male-dominated role, Samus has been widely considered a breakthrough for female characters in video games. As a woman, that right there is reason enough.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
she's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
She's an interstellar bounty hunter. Like, how more badass can you get? Like, I don't know.
Not much at all.
It's crazy. Like when I was researching the baddest women and watching all the lists from like Ranker to IGN to Game Informer, all of those people. Shut up, Brian, you wank.
Hey, Tony.
We got a wise guy over here.
He's pouring his heart out over here.
We got a fucking comedian over here.
So yeah, like all the lists had Lara Croft at first. Yeah, and I'm just like, and Samus was either second or third, and I'm just like, no, bro, like that's ridiculous. Like, how do you? She was like the breakthrough badass, the breakthrough badass.
She's so cool. I believe it.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, nobody tops that.
Yeah.
Especially because she was such a sleeper in the game. Like, nobody knew until it was over.
Like I said, can you imagine the uprising people had where they're like, "Oh my God, I was playing as a girl."
Yeah, I think people probably tend to go toward Lara Croft just because, Lara Croft came out when there was so much more happening as far as interconnectivity and everything, and just she was right out there and just pushed out there.
Exactly,
and she's had so many games over the years too.
Yeah.
There haven't been as much Metroid games as her, so maybe that's another reason why she just keeps continuing to.
No, I can't imagine having. Absolutely, Brian. You're 100%. She paved the way for women in video games.
Yeah.
Easily.
So that concludes our top 20 list. If you guys enjoyed it, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that watched live.
If you didn't enjoy it, fuck you.
Yeah, if you didn't enjoy it, then fuck you, just like Big Red.
Fuck you, Big Red, then fuck you.
We would love to hear your ideas of top 20 lists that we can do. We're going to post a question on our Facebook page and have you guys answer it, and we'll definitely try to do more of these lists.
Hell yeah.
So as always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at NerdCorp Podcast.
Or you can send us an email at nerdcorppodcast@gmail.com.
And if you're looking to climb a list with us, subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/nerdcorppodcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to add-ons and bonus content. So for Patreon, Nerd Corporation, my name is Eddie Lyon.
I'm Cole.
Derek Reese.
And I'm Nick Lewis.
Peace out on the later mine.
The what?
On the later mine.
What's the later?
I don't know. I was just spitting shit out.
As long as you can admit it, that's all.
No. Peace out, yo.
Pistol Pete.
On the snoot.
Later, maninin.
Your mom, she's...
Shananana.